Hello, it's Alayna with Hope Harbor. Back with another yoga video. I have planned a pretty accessible, I'd say, flow for us today. And so why don't you go ahead and roll your mat out and we'll get started. We're going to begin our practice today in our easy seated pose, our cross-legged Sukhasana on our mat. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable, root your sits bones into your mat here. Maybe it feels good to stack your legs in kind of a half lotus position. You can rest your hands on your knees, and then you're going to gently lean your shoulders back. And the goal here is to create a straight line from the base of your spine all the way up to the tip of your spine that connects to your head. And go ahead and just gently tuck your chin down. You're still able to breathe clearly. And this just lengthens the back of our neck here. So let's exhale wherever you are and inhale together through our nose and exhale through our mouth. That nice audible exhale. Again, in through our nose and out through our mouth. One more time together. Inhale. Really fill up every space in your lungs. And exhale, slow and controlled. You can go ahead and seal your lips, but continue those deep inhales, really filling up your chest here, and then pushing the air out on your exhales, creating space for that new breath on your next inhale. And remember to continue this controlled breathing throughout our practice, as it is an important component of yoga. It goes hand in hand with the postures, the poses. And you'll hear me cue for your inhales and exhales on certain movements. And it's okay if they don't match up with where you are. It's just a reminder to continue breathing. We're not holding our breath. I like to really visualize the air moving in through your nose and down your throat into your lungs, and then pushing it back out, up your throat, out of your mouth. Maybe it feels good to keep your eyes closed here as we look inward and focus on our breath. Whenever you're ready, you're going to bring your fingertips out next to you on the mat. Just your middle fingers, just barely brushing the mat here with our elbows straight. We're going to inhale, lengthen our spine, and then exhale, send your left ear to your left shoulder. Keeping your right fingers out, maybe trying to inch them a little bit further away. Maybe it feels good to rest your hand on your head, which is just kind of gently weighing that ear closer towards the shoulder. You should really feel that stretching in that right shoulder and the right arm. Continue our breaths here. And on your next inhale, go ahead and place that left hand back down onto the mat. And exhale here, and then inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Maybe letting that right hand weigh your head down towards your shoulder as you feel that left side open up, stretching in your neck and in your shoulder. And then releasing that hand back down onto the mat. Let's walk your hands behind your hips, fingertips pointing towards your hips as you lift the chest up. So your elbows are straight, if that feels comfortable. Your gaze is up towards the ceiling or the sky. So you can stay here, or to take it a little further, you can roll onto your knees, lifting your hips off the mat. Taking one more breath here, wherever you are. And then lowering your hips if you lifted them up. Walking your hands back up, stacking your shoulders. Let's inhale our arms up towards the sky. Exhale, left arm to right knee. As we twist over to the right, gaze over our back shoulder. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, twisting a little deeper. Keeping our hips square to the front. And then inhaling, coming back to center with control. Arms up towards the sky. Exhale, right arm, left knee. Again, twisting from our torso here, keeping our hips towards the front. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And then inhale, arms back up through center. Exhale, forward fold. Bringing those palms down to the mat or the ground in front of you. Keeping your hips on the mat. Maybe letting your elbows bend. Drawing your torso over your legs here. Just opening up the back of your heart. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to roll onto your knees or swing your legs around, coming into our tabletop position. So really pressing through our shoulders here. We're not like sinking down. This really makes this pose a lot easier. With our fingers spread wide. And then you're going to tuck your right toes under, but straighten your leg. And so we're going to wake up our calf muscles here. You're going to inhale, coming up on your toes. Exhale, press that heel back. Inhale, coming up on your toes. Exhale, press back. Then on your next inhale, bringing your knee back to meet the left, and then sending that left foot behind you. Tucking those toes. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, press that heel back. You're really going to feel it along the back side of your leg here. Just kind of rocking gently back and forth on those inhales and exhales. Maybe one more. And then bringing your knees back to center as you bring your big toes to touch, sending your knees wide. Send your hips back for your child's pose. You can walk your hands out in front of you, keeping your elbows lifted. For this active child's pose, as we send our heart towards the mat here. Remembering that child's pose is always where you can come to if your body or if your mind needs a break. This is also where we can set our intention for our practice. A word or a phrase that can follow us through our poses and throughout the day. This is also where we remind ourselves to listen to our body. Maybe doing a body scan here, just seeing what needs attention, what needs energy sent to it. And knowing that listening to our bodies is the most important part of yoga, that we're not pushing ourselves too far, that we're just doing today what we need today. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and tuck your toes under and send your hips high, straightening your legs for our first down dog. Maybe it feels good to walk your dog, bending one knee at a time, sending the opposite heel closer towards the mat. Really pressing through your finger pads here. Lifting up through your shoulders as you send your chest towards your thighs. Really creating that peak at your hips. Taking a couple breaths here. And then on your next inhale, you're going to shift forward into plank. Now you can come down to your knees, or you can move through your chaturanga if that is in your practice. But I'll show you our knees, chin, chest alternative here. So with your knees down, you're slowly lowering your chest down, and then scooping up into our cobra, and then bending the knees, pressing back into our down dog. So that's a great alternative for the chaturanga flow. And you can always just skip it all together and stay in down dog or come to your knees if needed. So meeting back in our down dog, we're going to look forward and step the right foot up. It's okay if it takes you a couple steps. As we come here in our lunge, you can lower down on that back leg, or you can keep it lifted as we then inhale our chest up. So you can stay here in this low lunge, or you can be up in your high lunge, high on those toes. And wherever you are, you want to be mindful of your alignment here. So keeping your hips tucked forward, your shoulders stacked over your hips. Maybe it feels good to keep your arms lifted, or maybe you'd like to rest them at your heart center. If balance is a little bit of a challenge, one, coming down on that back knee will help, but then also bringing your hands to your hips can help with the balance as well. And then wherever you are, you're going to place your hands back down on the mat as you send that right foot back and coming into our down dog. Getting warmed up a little bit here as we then shift forward, moving through our chaturanga or our knees, chin, chest, whatever is available to you today, or skipping it all together. Taking a breath here, and then inhaling that left leg up and bringing it forward. And again, staying high on that back foot for your high lunge, or lowering down on the knee for your low lunge, which still offers a great stretch. You're still going to feel it in your hips here, even with your knee down. And kind of tucking in your ribs here if you find yourself going to kind of bow back. Okay, one more breath. And on your exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat, stepping that left foot back to meet the right in our down dog. Staying here. We're moving through your chaturanga, or knees, chin, chest flow. And we're going to inhale that right foot back up towards the sky, bending the knee, bringing it forward. Inhaling up into our lunge here. You can keep that knee down, but we are going to move into our warrior two. So if you have that knee picked up or down on the mat, you are going to want to pick it up as we open up into our warrior two here. So pivoting on that back foot. Your back foot is now parallel to the back of your mat. And our front toes are pointing towards the front of your mat. Keeping that tailbone tucked, drawing those shoulders back as we create this straight line. With our arms here in this warrior two. Continuing our breath. And then shifting back into our lunge. Bringing our hands back down to the mat. Stepping the right foot back to meet the left. In our down dog, staying here. We're moving through your chaturanga, or knees, chin, chest. As we prepare to move to the other side. So you're going to inhale that left foot up towards the sky. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, up into our high lunge. So we inhale our arms up, open up into warrior two on this side. Checking our alignment here, maybe adjusting your stance. And steadying our breath. Maybe bending that knee a little bit deeper so you send your hips towards the mat. Then on your next inhale, pivoting on those back toes, coming up into our crescent lunge. Exhale. Plant your hands, send the left foot back to meet the right. Down dog. Staying here. We're moving through whichever option of chaturanga or knees, chin, chest. Then inhaling that right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee, bring that right foot forward. Inhale up into our crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Holding here for a minute. Then we're going to inhale forward. Exhale, tip-top our arms down with our right arm down, our left arm is up towards the sky with our gaze. Taking a breath here. And then inhaling back to our warrior two. Coming back into our high crescent. Exhale. Plant your hands. Right meets the left. Down dog. Moving through your chaturanga or skipping. Warrior knees, chin, chest. And inhale, left foot up towards the sky. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, pivot on the back toes, warrior two. Taking a breath here, checking our alignment. And then inhale, reaching forward, exhale. Left arm comes on the inside of that knee with that right arm up towards the sky. You can also gently rest that left arm on your thigh, but you don't want to be weighing into it. You still want to keep that integrity in your core here, because that's really where the strength is coming from. Then inhale, back to center. Exhale, pivot on the back toes. Inhale here. Exhale, swan dive forward. Stepping the left foot back in our down dog. Moving through your chaturanga or coming down to your knees for a little break in our child's pose. You can keep your arms lifted or your elbows lifted for this active child's pose. Or maybe it feels good to stack your forearms and rest your head on your wrists. Just reconnecting with our breath here. Staying here if you need to, or bringing your hands back out in front of you as you lift up, tucking your toes, and coming back into our down dog. As we continue to move through this flow and add to this flow, inhaling our right foot up towards the sky, Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, lift up into our crescent. Exhale, open up into warrior two. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, flip the palm, reverse warrior. Really opening up that right side of your body. Gaze is up towards the sky, towards that right hand. As that left hand rests on that back leg. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, pivot on those back toes for your crescent lunge. Exhale, swing your arms down, step the foot back, down dog. Moving through your chaturanga or staying in down dog, whatever option is speaking to you. As you inhale that left foot to sky, exhale, bend the knee, bring it forward. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, flip the palm, reverse warrior. Keeping that bend in that front knee. Taking a breath here. And then inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, pivot on those back toes. Swing your arms down, step the left foot back to meet the right. Down dog. Staying here or moving through whatever option is calling to you. As we meet back in our down dog. And that completes our warrior flow. And you're going to look between the hands, step your feet forward, coming into our forward fold. Bringing your feet about hips width distance, and just allowing your shoulders to just weigh heavy over your body. Keeping a slight bend in your knee to release that low back. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows. Engaging your core here to allow yourself to fold over your legs. Then you're going to begin bending your knees as you slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time, coming into our Tadasana, our standing pose. Bring your arms out next to you, your palms open wide to receive this energy that you've created in your space. Exhale wherever you are. Inhale together through our nose. Exhale through our mouth. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Interlace the fingers as you stretch those arms up, tucking your biceps behind your ears. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend towards the right. Drawing that left shoulder back. Keeping the core engaged. Inhaling back to center. Exhale to the left. Drawing that right shoulder back. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, cactus the elbows, stretching your chest forward, keeping your tailbones tucked. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Move through our standing pose. Today we're going to root down through our left foot first. So go ahead and look down at your feet, pick up all your left toes, and then slowly, one by one, starting with the pinky, lower them down to the mat, and really gripping the mat with that left foot. Lifting your head back up, looking straight ahead. you're going to pick up the right knee. Maybe you're able to hold on to your knee here, really drawing that knee towards your chest. Feel free to hold on to a chair or a wall if balance is not on your side today. That's okay. And even if you are holding on to something, what we want to do is try to draw those shoulders back. And so maybe you're not able to hold on to your knee. Maybe your toes are barely on the ground. Maybe it's lifted a little bit. Maybe you're holding on underneath your thigh. So you have options here. Wherever you are, let's go ahead and flex that right foot. Maybe do a couple circles. The ankle in one direction, and then in the other. And then we're going to lower that foot back down onto the mat. Wiggle out your legs here. And then move to the other side. Go ahead and pick up those toes of the right foot, set them down one at a time, starting with the pinky. Really rooting through that right foot here as you look back up and pick up the left foot. So again, finding your option here, using the wall or the chair, whatever prop you may need, something that's stable. As you draw your shoulders back, finding that focal point, and then doing your ankle rolls. Maybe you're hearing a couple pops. And then in the other direction. And then lowering the left foot back down. Wiggling that out. Inhaling your arms back up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to reach that left hand towards the ground, towards your toes, and it's okay if you're not, if you haven't made it there. And you're going to bend that left knee as you straighten the right knee and open up that right arm. This is a great pose too if you have blocks at home to use underneath that left hand. Maybe drawing your hips back into square alignment with your gaze up towards that right hand if that feels okay on your neck. And slowly lowering that right arm back down towards the mat as you switch, reaching towards the ground or maybe holding onto your toes, just wherever you are, bending that right knee as you straighten the left and open up towards the left side. Checking that hip alignment as you draw that shoulder back. Taking a couple breaths here, really feeling that hamstring stretch. And exhale, bringing the left hand down towards the mat. Bending your knees as much as you need to grab onto your toes. Maybe trying to straighten your legs a little bit as you just hang here for a couple breaths. And then you're going to plant your hands and step your feet back, coming into our down dog. Maybe you notice your heels are a little closer towards the mat now that we've warmed up our hamstrings. Taking a couple breaths here. Then you're going to bring your knees down towards the mat, keeping your toes tucked. You're going to sit back on your heels for our foot stretch. If this is too intense, again, noting the difference between light and lightning, between pain and sensation. We do not want pain. You can always just lift up onto your knees. If your knees feel a little sensitive on your mat, you can use a blanket or a pillow underneath your knees here. You don't want to disturb your balance, but definitely want comfort under our knees. You can interlace your fingers, send your palms away from you, straightening your elbows. Maybe bringing your hands behind your head as you draw your elbows towards each other. They're probably not going to touch, and that's okay. We're opening up our chest here as you feel that engagement in your shoulders. Taking a couple breaths and releasing your hands, bringing them down to the mat. Tapping out the tops of your feet, maybe rolling your ankles a couple times as you then bring the tops of your feet to the mat, sending your hips back onto your heels. Staying here, or you can place your hands behind you, palms flat on the mat, fingertips facing towards your feet, lifting your chest. You can stay here, as this feels probably a nice stretch enough. Or you can lift your knees off the mat, bending your elbows, and really stretching out the tops of your feet. But again, if this isn't comfortable, that's okay. And then bringing back down onto the mat, stacking your shoulders over your hips here. And then we're going to swing our legs out. We're crossing them underneath you, coming in onto our hips. And we're going to move into our boat pose. And so, with your feet flat on the mat, and your knees bent, maybe this is good for you. Maybe this is an ab workout enough, because that's what we're about to be doing. And that's fine, holding on to the backs of your legs. Or maybe you're able to rock back onto your hips as you lift your feet off the mat. Now, if balance becomes an issue, you can place your hands behind you and really adding that extra balance here. You'll still get the ab workout. You'll still feel it in your thighs as well. It's okay to be a little shaky, flexing the feet, or if you're feeling good in your balance, stretching your arms out alongside your knees. A little helping point too is to cross your ankles. And you're going to be lifting with your chest and your knees here. So you have plenty of options. You have your hands behind you for that balance. You can just stay here, lifting your chest, okay? Or we can go with your arms out, palms up. Plenty of options here. Wherever you are, it's okay to take a break if you need. Just lower your legs. I'm going to continue breathing. We're not holding our breath in this pose. Maybe you're able to lift your ankles into your knees alignment. Taking a couple more breaths wherever you are. Lifting those shoulders, that chest. Exhale, crossing the ankles, folding forward. Coming back up, stacking those shoulders as we bring the bottoms of our feet together for our cobbler's pose, or our butterfly. Holding on to your ankles here. And it's more intense with your heels closer towards your hips. So feel free to keep your legs out as wide as, or as far away from your hips as you need to, and that's okay. You'll definitely still benefit from this pose no matter where your feet are. You're going to inhale, lifting up with the chest, and then exhale, drawing your chest forward, maybe using your elbows as weights to gently send your knees closer towards the mat. Taking a couple breaths here with your straight back. Inhaling one more time, and then exhaling. You can curve your back here, rounding your shoulders. You can release your hold on your ankles if that feels good, and bring your arms out in front of you. Maybe on each exhale, You're able to release your knees. Maybe they move a micro inch closer towards the mat. Continuing our steady breaths here. And on your inhale, begin walking your hands back up towards your legs. As you then bring your legs open for our wide-legged seated. Keeping your feet flexed here. You're going to inhale your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips. So keeping that flat back. And it's okay if you don't move very far forward. Drawing those shoulders back, so we're not curving forward yet. We still have our back straight. And you're pulling those shoulder blades together, squeezing them behind you. Taking one more breath here, and then exhale, release. Rolling your shoulders forward, bringing your hands down to the ground in front of you. Keeping a micro bend in your knees. If you're feeling that tightness behind your knee, that is okay. You're still getting the hamstring stretch and the inner thigh stretch here. Keeping your feet flexed. Maybe inching your fingers out further in front of you. Taking a few more breaths here. And you can begin walking your hands back towards your hips. Bringing your feet back in. You're going to bring your your left foot and bending the knee. And you're going to tuck that left foot behind, like right underneath your right hip. And then you're going to bring that right foot on the outside of your left knee. So we're kind of doing this little pretzel thing here. And so you can stay here, and it's also okay to be a little bit, maybe you're a little bit undone, and that's okay. Definitely want to listen to your body and protect your knees here. Wherever you are, I'm going to try to straighten your spine. Then we're going to inhale our arms up, exhale, twist towards the right. So that left elbow is kind of tucked around that right knee. With that right shoulder behind you, kind of how we do our twist at the beginning in our warm up. Maybe you're able to turn your head behind you, gazing over that back shoulder. Taking a couple breaths here. And on your next inhale, you begin to twist slowly with control back to the center as we switch our legs out. So you're going to bring that right heel underneath that left hip, or right where it comes to the mat. Left foot on the outside of the right knee. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Exhale, twist towards the left. Drawing that left shoulder behind you. Pulling that right shoulder, kind of trying to make that straight line with your shoulders here. One more breath. And then on your exhale, coming back to center. Undoing your legs as you bring them out in front of you with your hips on the mat. We're going to prepare to roll onto our backs. So holding on to the backs of your legs, you're going to slowly lower one vertebrae at a time onto the mat. Maybe adjust yourself on your mat as we prepare for our bridge pose, walking our feet in towards our hips, merely brushing our heels with our fingertips, with our palms flat on your mat. Pressing your feet into your mat, you're going to lift your hips up on your inhale. Your knees don't need to touch, but you do want to keep your thighs engaged in that alignment with your legs going straight. Pressing your shoulder blades into the mat. Maybe you're able to lift your hips a little bit higher here. You can stay here. Maybe you want to lift that right foot up off the mat for a little bit of a strength and balance challenge option. Lowering that right foot back down, and then slowly with control, lowering each vertebrae onto the mat until your hips follow. Taking a breath here. As we prepare to go into our bridge one more time, adjusting your alignment if needed. As you inhale those hips up towards the sky, pressing those shoulder blades in the back of your head into the mat, keeping those knees straight. So you're kind of pulling them towards each other, even though they're not touching. Inhaling your hips a little bit higher, continuing to breathe, staying here, maybe lifting that left foot off the mat for a little bit of that challenge. Lowering the left foot down if you picked it up, and then slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time down onto the mat. Maybe it feels good to windshield wiper your knees from side to side, rolling onto the sides of your feet, and releasing that low back here. You're going to inhale your knees up towards your chest. Holding on to your shins here, keeping your shoulder blades on the mat. So wherever that is for you, that's okay. And then you're going to bring your arms out into a T next to you. I'm going to inhale here, and on your exhale, rolling onto that right hip as you send your knees over towards the right side. This is also where you can use a pillow or a blanket. If your knees aren't touching the ground, it's also okay to kind of unravel your knees if needed, if keeping them bent and tucked in is a little difficult. Cross your ankles. Just find a way to just kind of let your knees rest. And then spinal twist. Keeping that left shoulder on the mat for a full rotation. You can send your gaze over towards that left hand. Maybe you want to weigh your knees down with that right hand. As your hips try to stack on top of each other. Just taking a few more breaths here in our twist. And releasing that right hand if you're holding onto your knee, bringing your head back towards center. As you inhale, those knees up, back over your torso. Inhaling here, and then exhale, sending your knees over towards the left. Keeping that right shoulder on the mat, maybe bringing your gaze over towards that right hand. Weighing your knees down with that left hand if that feels good. As we lay here in our twist, just envisioning your body being wrung out like a towel. You're just wringing out the things that you don't need, that no longer serve you, that don't bring you happiness and peace. Maybe it's worry, maybe it's dread. And maybe you're just able to let it go just in this moment, and that's okay. And you can begin coming back, bringing that left arm back out beside you if you had it laying on your knees. Bringing your head back towards center if you had turned it over towards the right. And then inhaling those knees back up towards center. Holding on to your shins here, or maybe wrapping your forearms around your shins as you draw your knees in towards your chest. As you lift your head up towards your knees, hug yourself because you love yourself. Just thinking for a moment about something that you love about yourself. Taking a deep inhale here. And on your exhale, send your limbs out in every direction, coming into our Shavasana. Just doing whatever you need to do to feel comfortable here for the next few moments. If you're feeling tightness in your low back, maybe it's bringing the bottoms of your feet together, or just bringing the bottoms of your feet to the mat and letting your knees touch. Maybe if you have your legs out straight, your toes point out towards the corners. Tops of your hands rest on the mat here. So maybe it feels good to tuck your shoulders underneath to really allow your palms to open up. Just allowing yourself to be present here and to connect with your mat. Doing a body scan here in this moment. Maybe remembering the body scan that you did at the beginning. Did those parts of you get the extra attention that they needed? Maybe you need to send energy to them right now. You can do that by just placing one of your hands over that area. Maybe it's your hips. Maybe it's your heart. And you can begin to come back to your physical body, deepening your inhales and exhales. Wiggling your toes and your fingertips. Are you gently rolling your head from side to side? Continuing to lay here if that feels good to you. Or you can bend your knees, rolling on to one side, cradling your head as you come into your rebirth. The posture that represents who you are now in this moment and the differences of you than you were when you began. Maybe taking one more breath here. And you can press yourself up, coming back into the easy seated pose in which we began. Maybe keeping your eyes closed or your gaze down towards your mat. Letting your hands rest on your knees. You can place your palms up to receive the energy that you created in your space here. As we revisit the intention that we set at the beginning of practice, or maybe setting one now. And reconnecting with our breath here. Exhale wherever you are. And inhale together through our nose. And exhale through our mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Pushing out the last little bit of air you have in your lungs. As you seal your lips, bringing your palms together at heart center. Pressing your thumbs into your sternum. Reconnecting with your heart here. I thank you for being here with me and for doing something special for yourself. It's important that we take time for ourselves, especially if the work we do involves serving others, whether that work is paid or unpaid. Inhale your thumbs up towards your third eye, pressing them into your forehead. Taking a deep inhale here. Exhale, bowing forward to seal your practice.